today. All I'm using today is one 10-pound dumbbell and an exercise mat. But if you don't have a dumbbell or a mat, stick around because I will be providing equipment-free substitutions. I am also going to be using a jump rope, but the jump rope section is optional. So if you have a dumbbell, a mat, and a jump rope, that's all you're going to need today. But if you don't have those things, don't worry, you can still do this workout right along with me. There are timestamps in the description box down below the video. So if you would prefer to just skip straight ahead to the workout, that's fine. You can go ahead and use the chapter markers to do that. But if you would like to see the exercises demonstrated and explained before we begin, let's go ahead and get into that right now. So let me first begin by telling you that, again, this dumbbell that I'm using today weighs 10 pounds. That is a good weight for me. However, you may need to use something lighter than that or heavier than that. That depends on you. That depends on your strength. It depends on your level of fitness. It also just depends on what you have available to you and how hard you are looking to push yourself today. So please consider all of those factors when choosing your weight and make the decision that is best for you. The other thing I want to point out about my dumbbell is that this is a hex dumbbell. What I mean by that is that the end is shaped like a hexagon, and that means that my dumbbells are flat on the bottom. This is significant because we are going to be doing push-ups on the dumbbell. So if your dumbbells are rounded on the ends here, I do not recommend putting your weight on them while you are in a plank position and doing push-ups with your hand on the dumbbell like I'm going to be doing, because if your dumbbells are rounded here, they're liable to roll around on you. You could fall and get hurt. It's your workout, it's your decision, but I would advise against using rounded dumbbells for your push-ups the way I am going to be doing. But you make the decision that is best for you. I just want you to be smart and be safe, so please use your common sense when deciding what level of risk you feel comfortable taking. So let me just go ahead and first begin by showing you the exercises the way I'm doing them. There are really just 4 exercises, and then we'll go through your equipment-free substitutions, and I'll show you some beginner modifications as well. So really the first exercise I'm going to be doing is just mountain climbers, but I'm going to be doing the mountain climbers with my hands on the dumbbell. So my hands are going to be a little bit closer together than normal. Typically when we do mountain climbers, you would start with your hands about shoulder width apart. You would begin by placing your hands down on the floor or the ground in front of you, or maybe on your mat, directly underneath your shoulders as you come up into your plank position. So my dumbbell is narrower than my shoulders, so my hands are going to be a little bit closer together than that. But I'm just going to place one hand on either side of the dumbbell like this, come up into my plank position, and then I'm just going to step one foot forward, bringing the knee towards my chest. And then all I'm going to do is just jump and switch the position of my feet like this. Okay, very simple exercise, but super tough. And that's it. We're just going to keep jumping and switching the position of the feet. Now, I always put both feet down with each step when I do my mountain climbers. Well, not always, but if I don't put this front foot down, I call it something else. But there are several different ways to do mountain climbers. So if you would prefer, you can just tuck this knee in towards your chest, but leave the foot off the ground, jump and switch the feet. So every time you jump your foot back, it's landing on the ground in front of you, but now when you jump that foot back in, this foot is off the ground and you have your knee tucked up to your chest. That's not how I'm doing my mountain climbers, but a lot of people do them that way. If you prefer to do them that way, you absolutely can. Again, any variation of mountain climbers you want to do is fine. But I'm going to be starting with both feet on the ground, and I'm just going to jump and switch the position of my feet. So with each step, I'm always landing both feet on the ground. All right, so equipment-free substitution, very easy. Just remove the dumbbell, okay? You're gonna start with both of your hands flat on the floor or the ground in front of you. Place your hands directly underneath your shoulders. Come out into your plank position. Tuck one knee in towards your chest. And then from here, again, you're just gonna jump and switch the position of your feet. If you prefer, you can keep this front foot off of the ground as you tuck the knee towards your chest. Okay, again, any mountain climber variation you want to do is fine, but there's your equipment-free substitution. If you are a beginner and it's too difficult to jump your feet, you can just step. So you can come up into your plank position and you can just step the foot forward and back. Or again, you can tuck the knee, leaving this front foot off of the ground with each knee tuck. But instead of jumping to switch the position of your feet, you're just going to step the feet in and out, okay? If that's too difficult, you can try elevating your hands on something like a chair or the arm of your couch or an ottoman. Something a little bit sturdier, like a plyo box or a park bench would be ideal. But a chair or a bar stool or something like that can absolutely work as long as it is strong enough to support your weight, sturdy enough so that it will not collapse or break or fold up when you put weight on it, and stable enough so that it cannot slide from underneath you. So again, please just use your common sense, be smart, be safe. Any number of elevated surfaces will work. Something like a plyo box is ideal because it is made for exercise, and so it is intended, you would be using it for its intended purpose, and it's going to be more than sufficient to support your weight. It's going to stay put. But if you don't have a plyo box, you can absolutely use household items. So for example, if you wanted to use a chair, again, please do not use a flimsy plastic folding chair. I'm just using this to demonstrate so that you can see what I'm talking about. And I have this right here. But when I say your chair or stool or whatever you're going to use needs to be strong enough to support your entire body weight, even if you're not planning on putting all of your weight on it, in the event that you lose your balance, you do want to make sure that whatever you're using to support you is capable of supporting all of your weight, just in case that becomes necessary. And again, you also want to make sure that your chair is sturdy, so I do not recommend using a folding chair, anything that could fold up when you put weight on it, or one of those collapsible stools. You don't want anything that's going to fold up or collapse. You want to make sure that your chair or stool or whatever you are using is good quality, make sure it's well made, make sure it's in decent condition, and it's not going to collapse or break or fold up when you put weight on it. And then you'll notice that I have placed my chair on top of my mat. That is going to help the chair stay put. You want to make sure that your chair or stool or whatever elevated surface you are using for support cannot slide from underneath you. So I always recommend placing your chair on top of an exercise mat or a yoga mat so that it stays put. But assuming you have access to something that is strong enough to support your entire body weight, sturdy enough that it won't collapse or break or fold up when you put weight on it, and stable enough so that it will not slide from underneath you when you put weight on it, then any number of elevated surfaces will work. So again, a plyo box is ideal, a park bench is great, the arm of your couch, your coffee table, an ottoman, maybe your dining room table, your kitchen counter, maybe even the wall, okay? So any kind of elevated surface that is strong, sturdy, and stable enough to be used safely will work. But if you elevate your hands, it's going to make these knee tucks or mountain climbers much easier. So that is another possibility if you are a beginner. And the higher you elevate your hands, the easier the exercise becomes. So that is your beginner modification for mountain climbers, and that's the first exercise. The next exercise is a little combo. We're doing a push-up and a squat combo. So again, for this, I'm going to be putting my weight on my dumbbell. I'm going to have my hands on the dumbbell while I'm doing my push-up. So again, please make sure that your weight is flat on the bottom so that you have sufficient stability while you are doing your push-up and your weight does not roll around on you, causing you to get hurt. If your weight is not flat on the bottom, I would prefer that you do your push-up without the weight, okay? But this is what I'm doing. I have one hand on either side of my dumbbell. I'm going to step my feet back so that I'm in a plank position. And for this push-up modification, it's probably going to be better to have your feet a little bit wider apart than normal. just for stability, because your hands, again, are closer together. Normally when we do our push-ups, same as with the mountain climbers, for a standard push-up, you would start with your hands underneath your shoulders. But since the width of my dumbbell is narrower than the width of my shoulders, my hands are going to be a little bit closer together. So it increases the difficulty of the push-up. So to compensate for that, it's a good idea to have your feet a little bit wider apart than you normally would for a standard push-up, just to help you with your stability, okay? So whatever feels comfortable for you is fine. Just keep in mind that it will make the push-up a little bit easier if you have your feet just a little bit wider, since your hands are closer together, okay? But that's it. We're just going to do the push-up from this position. So bending your elbows and lowering your chest as close to the dumbbell as you can. Ideally, you want to actually touch the dumbbell with your chest and then push yourself back up. And that's it, all right? So that's what I'm going to be doing. If you do not have weights that are flat on the bottom, like if you have a dumbbell but it's rounded here, I would prefer that you not use the dumbbell for your push-up. If you have a kettlebell though, a kettlebell will work great for this. You can hold on to the handles of your kettlebell, and that would be an ideal substitution if you don't have a dumbbell. If you don't have a dumbbell, but you do want to add weight, we'll get to that when we do the squats and the ab exercises, because that's where I'm going to be actually adding weight. For the mountain climbers and the push-ups, I'm using the dumbbell, but I'm not using it to add weight. So if you don't have a dumbbell but you want to add weight, don't worry about that for the mountain climbers and the push-ups. Just worry about it for the exercises where we're actually using the dumbbell as added weight, okay? So if you do not have a dumbbell that's flat on the bottom, or you just don't want to use your dumbbell for the push-ups, just do any push-up variation you want. So the closest thing to what I'm doing would actually be diamond push-ups, meaning that you would have your tips of your index fingers touching and the tips of your thumbs touching like this, so that in the middle here is making like a diamond shape. That would be the most similar to what I'm doing, because it means that you have your hands narrower than shoulder width apart. But it's a very difficult push-up variation. So if you don't want to do that, then just have your hands directly underneath your shoulders. Again, whatever's comfortable for you. It depends on your strength, on your level of fitness, and how hard you want to push yourself today. So just make the decision that's best for you. Any push-up variation you want to do is absolutely fine. Just remember with your push-ups to mind your form. So there are 3 bullet points I always give you for your push-ups. We're going to start at the top and work our way down. So your first bullet point when you are doing your push-ups is that you want to make sure your head is in line with your spine. So if you imagine that you are standing with your back up against a wall, and then just imagine lightly pressing the back of your head into the wall, that's where you want your head, perfectly up and down in line with your spine. So you want to maintain that position with your head while you're in your plank position and throughout the entire duration of the exercise. So hands on the mat or the floor or the ground in front of you, place your hands directly underneath your shoulders, step your feet back so that you're in your plank position, and then from here, your first bullet point is you want to make sure that your head is in line with your spine. So make sure that you're not allowing your head to drop like this. Make sure also that you are not overcorrecting by hyperextending your neck and jutting your chin out. The second bullet point to make sure you are doing your push-ups with impeccable form is to remember to keep your shoulders away from your ears. So what that means is that it's a tendency for a lot of people, either as they fatigue or even just initially if you're just not used to being in a plank position, you've never been taught how to do plank correctly, or you just lack upper body strength and core strength, it's going to be a tendency for a lot of people to kind of sink down into their shoulders like this. Do you see how my shoulders are kind of hunched up by my ears? So in order to correct that, it's very simple. You're just going to push the ground away from you. So really visualize trying to press the ground away from you. All right, so you're going to spread out all 10 fingers so that your weight is as evenly distributed as possible. Again, you're placing your hands directly underneath your shoulders, so not out wide. not in close together. You can do your push-up that way if you want. That's a choice. There are, push-up variations where your hands are out wider. And again, like we went over with our diamond push-ups, there are push-up variations where your hands are closer together. But for just a standard push-up, spread out all 10 fingers and just start with your hands directly underneath your shoulders. And then again, step your feet back into a plank position. Make sure your head is in line with your spine and make sure you're pressing the ground away from you so that you're up as high as you can get in your plank position and your shoulders are away from your ears. All right, so your third and final bullet point, flat back. Okay, you want your back flat. What we're trying to avoid is an arch in the back. And that is another very common mistake because again, if you just haven't been taught how to do this correctly, or maybe you lack upper body strength, you lack core strength, it's very common that people will allow their hips or their belly to kind of droop down towards the ground like this. So in order to correct that, you want to really tighten up your abs. It's as though someone's about to come along and punch you in the stomach as hard as they can, and you're bracing for that impact. That's how tight your abs should feel. So tighten up your abs and then use your ab muscles to lift your hips high and keep them lifted high. So the point is that you want your body to be in one straight line from your heels to your shoulders, and really from your heels all the way to the crown of your head. All right, one straight line. And then once you have found that perfect plank position, nothing moves. So you want to think of your body like it is literally a plank of wood, like a 2x4, and you're just lowering it down to the ground and then pushing it back up. But this, from your heels to the tip of your head, does not move, okay? So you're going to just bend your elbows, you're going to lower your chest as close to the ground as you can without breaking that straight line from your heels to your shoulders. And once you've gotten your chest as close to the ground as you can, you're just going to reverse the movement, press the ground away from you and push yourself back up, return to your starting position. Now, if you are not able to get your chest all the way down to the ground, that's fine. That's your goal, but you may not meet that goal today. What's more important is your objective, okay? Your objective is maintaining that straight line from your heels to your shoulders. So you want to get your chest as close to the mat as you can, but without breaking that straight line. So if you are unable to get your chest all the way down to the mat, then that's fine. You can just shorten up your range of motion. If you can only come down this far without breaking that straight line from your heels to your shoulders, then you're going to stop here. And then you're going to press the ground away from you and return to your starting position. But what's important is that you're not compensating for the fact that you can't get your chest all the way down by lowering your hips or your belly down to the mat, okay? Remember, your objective is to maintain that straight line from your heels to your shoulders, head in line with the spine, shoulders away from the ear, and flat back. So if you're unable to get your chest all the way down and you're compensating by lowering your hips or your belly down to the mat, that's causing your back to arch. We want to maintain that flat back. We want to keep those abs tight. We want to keep the hips lifted high. The other really common mistake that people will make is that if they cannot get their chest all the way down to the mat, they'll compensate for that by lowering their forehead down to the mat like this, okay? But remember that you want your head in line with your spine and you want your head to stay still. You want to maintain this position of your head being perfectly in line with your spine throughout the duration of the exercise. All right, so I think a lot of times when people make that mistake, it's done on a subconscious level because you're just trying so hard to get all the way down. And when you lack the upper body strength or the core strength to do that without breaking that straight line from your heels all the way to the crown of your head, it's just really tempting to kind of want to trick yourself into thinking that you're getting all the way down by lowering your hips or your belly or by lowering your forehead to the mat. All right, but just remember, it's your goal to get your chest down to the mat, but not at the expense of your form. So it's okay if you don't reach that goal today, but that's what you're working towards. The really important thing is that you're never breaking that straight line from your heels all the way to the crown of your head. So if you need to shorten up your range of motion, that's fine. Shorten up your range of motion. And if you're doing knee push-ups, it's the exact same exercise. All of the same principles apply. Literally the only difference is that instead of your straight line going from your heels to your shoulders, your straight line is from your knees to your shoulders. But other than that, nothing changes. All right, so for knee push-ups, you're going to start by spreading out all 10 fingers. Placing your hands on the mat directly underneath your shoulders. Step your feet back so that you are in a plank position. And then right here where your knees are, just bend your knees and place your knees on the mat. And then from here, you're making sure that your head is perfectly in line with your spine. You are not allowing your head to drop down towards the mat like this. You're not overcorrecting by hyperextending your neck and jutting your chin out. You just have your head perfectly in line with your spine, and you're pressing the ground away from you, pushing yourself up nice and high in your plank so that your shoulders are away from your ears. You are not allowing yourself to sink down into your shoulders, causing your shoulders to be hunched up by your ears like this. You're pressing the ground away from you, and your abs are nice and strong and tight and engaged. You are not allowing your hips or your belly to droop towards the mat, causing an arch in your back. You're using your ab muscles to lift your hips high, and you're going to keep them nice and high so that your back is flat and it remains flat. And then from here, once you have gotten this perfectly straight line from your knees to your shoulders and through to the crown of your head, you're going to make sure that nothing moves. You're never going to break that straight line. So you're going to bend your elbows, lower your chest as close to the mat as you can without breaking that straight line from your knees to your shoulders, and then press the mat away. And again, if you are unable to touch your chest to the mat, you're just going to shorten up your range of motion. Okay, so if you can only come down this close to the mat without breaking that straight line from your knees to your shoulders, you're not going to compensate for the fact that you're not getting your chest down by lowering your hips or your belly down to the mat. You're not going to compensate for the fact that you're not getting your chest all the way down by lowering your forehead down to the mat. You're simply going to shorten up your range of motion. All right, so once you've gotten your chest as close to the mat as you can without breaking that straight line from your knees to your shoulders, you're just going to press the mat away from you, push yourself back up nice and high, and return to your starting position. So again, any push-up variation you want to do is fine, either from your toes or from your knees. Just mind your form. So remember those 3 bullet points: head in line with the spine, shoulders away from the ears, flat back. And remember also that if you are a beginner and it is too difficult to do the knee push-ups the way I just showed you, it is easier if you elevate your hands. So again, I'm going to use this flimsy plastic folding chair just to demonstrate so that you can see what I mean. Instead of just explaining it to you, you have a visual reference, but you are not going to use a flimsy plastic folding chair for your elevated surface. If you need to elevate your hands, you're going to choose an elevated surface that is strong, sturdy, and stable enough to be used safely. A plyo box would be ideal, but if you don't have a plyo box, a chair can absolutely work. Just make sure that your chair is strong enough to support your entire body weight. Make sure it is sturdy so that it will not fold up. So don't use a folding chair. Make sure it can't collapse. It's not going to break when you put weight on it, and make sure that it's stable. So place your chair on top of your mat, and then you can just do your push-up from your knees with your hands elevated. All right, so it's the same exact exercise. You're gonna have your hands elevated on the chair, keeping your body in one perfectly straight line from your knees to your shoulders. You're going to bend your elbows, lower your chest as close to the chair as you can, and then push the chair away from you, push yourself back up. Now, if even that is too difficult, keep in mind that the farther away from the chair you place your knees, the more difficult the push-up will be. You can make the push-up much easier by inching your knees closer to the chair so that your body is more upright. So from here, same exercise. Again, your body's in one straight line from your knees to your shoulders. You're just going to bend your elbows, lower your chest as close to the chair as you can, and then push yourself back up. Now from that position, the push-up itself is much easier, but it's very taxing for your knees. So if you have the upper body strength to do the push-ups that way, but the reason you can't do it is because it is too taxing for your knees, the solution may be as simple as just doubling over your mat a few times so that you have a little bit of added protection for your knees. You could also grab a throw pillow or a seat cushion, I have seat cushions on my dining room chairs, but a lot of people have seat cushions on like their patio furniture. So something like that might work as well. You can also buy those little pads that they have to kneel on, like for gardening or in the gardening sections. They have them at like Dollar Tree. They're super cheap. But that might be a possibility for you. But if it's still too difficult, even if you find something so that you have a little bit more protection for your knees, if it's still too difficult to get down onto your knees or it hurts too much, then you can absolutely do your push-ups from standing, okay? So again, you could use a tall plyo box, that would be ideal. A park bench would be great if you have a park bench or if you want to take your workout to the park maybe. But also what works great for this is a strong, sturdy, stable chair or bar stool can absolutely work. The arm of your couch, and I think the best thing to use for this is your kitchen counter because it's nice and high. Again, the higher you elevate your hands, the easier the push-up will be because your body is more upright. So because of gravity, that means that your lower body is supporting more of your weight and it's less weight for you to have to push up using your upper body strength. Okay, so the kitchen counter is nice and high. It's great for beginners and it's not going anywhere. You can put all of your weight on it. It's not going to go anywhere. It's definitely going to support you. So that's a great option. But a chair can work as long as it is strong enough to support your weight, sturdy enough that it won't collapse or break when you put weight on it, and stable so that it cannot slide from underneath you. Same exact exercise. Place your hand on your elevated surface. Your body's in one straight line from your heels to your shoulders. Bend your elbows, lower your chest as close to the chair or the arm of your couch, your kitchen counter, whatever you're using as you can, and then push yourself back up. Same thing, if you can't get your chest all the way there, just get it as close as you can without breaking that straight line from your heels to your shoulders. All right, so that is your equipment-free substitutions and beginner modifications for your push-ups. So I'm going to be combining my push-up with a counterweight squat. So let's just go over your equipment-free substitution first, because any squat variation you want to do is fine. So we'll start with just the basic form for an air squat. And then from there, if you want to add weight, you can. And if you want to add something else besides weight, like a jump or a leg lift or something, you can add whatever you want. But whatever squat variation you choose, here are your bullet points to make sure that you're minding your form and doing your squats correctly. Number one, shoulders are away from the ears. So shoulders are back and down, away from your ears. You want to keep your back flat and you want to keep your weight in your heels, okay? Remember, flat back, weight in the heels, all right? So you're going to start by tucking your shoulder blades into your back pockets, okay? So it's going to feel like you're pinching your shoulder blades together behind you, and then you're making sure that you're letting your shoulder blades just kind of slide down your back. So your shoulders are not up here, they're away from your ears. Push them down, push them back. All right, so if you visualize trying to tuck your shoulder blades into your back pockets, that's going to help you keep your shoulders back and down. It's also going to help you keep your chest lifted nice and high, which is what we want. And you want to maintain that sensation of your chest being lifted the entire time. All right, so the next thing we want to do is tighten up the abs. So again, it's like someone is about to punch you in the stomach as hard as they can, and you're bracing for that impact. All right, really, really tighten up your abs. And then one last thing before we squat, because from here, our shoulders are back and down, our chest is lifted high, our abs are tight. But from here, if you think of your squat as just going straight down, what's going to tend to happen is that your knees are going to end up over your toes, and that's really not the movement. It's also a really good way to hurt your knees, and we don't want to hurt our knees. So instead, what you're going to do is actually think about hinging at the hips. All right, so really push your booty back. Imagine that you're trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty, because when I do that, look what happens. We went from here, okay, if I think of squatting straight down, my knees are out over my toes, but if I think of first hinging at the hips and I push my booty back, trying to touch the wall behind me with my booty, now do you see how my knees are no longer out over my toes? All of my weight is in my heels. I can actually pick up my toes. okay? And remember that we're maintaining that sensation of keeping our chest lifted the entire time. So as you are trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty, you're also imagining trying to touch the wall in front of you with your chest. All right, so the point is that you want your spine to be nice and elongated. That's how we are going to achieve that flat back. All right, flat back, weight in the heels. So shoulders back and down, chest is lifted high, abs are tight. Push that booty back, trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty, trying to touch the wall in front of you with your chest, and then from here with your back flat and the weight in your heels. This is where you can sink down into your squat. And then to stand, you're going to press your heels into the ground. Actively press your heels into the ground. All right, you really want to activate all of the muscles in your feet, through your legs, your quads especially, but also your glutes and your entire core. Remember, your abs are already nice and strong and tight and engaged. So really visualize actually pressing the ground away from you as you stand. And that's it. That's your form for just a basic air squat. Now, goals versus objectives. Okay, your goal is to see if you can at least get your thighs parallel to the ground. Okay, if you can and you want to squat super low so that your booty's all the way down below your knees, that's fine, as long as you can do that without pushing your body into doing something it's not ready to do. Make sure you are working to your own level, okay? Be smart, be safe, listen to your body. But your goal is to at least see if you can get your thighs parallel to the ground. Now, again, you may not reach that goal today. You may not reach it in the near future, but that's what you're working towards. The important thing, your objective, is to keep your back flat, keep the weight in your heels. Okay, so when I said a flat back with the push-ups, what we were trying to avoid was an arched back, okay? But when I say flat back for your squats, what we're trying to avoid is a rounded back, okay? So that's why we tuck the shoulder blades into the back pockets, lift that chest high, push the booty back so the spine is nice and elongated. So you wanna make sure you're not rounding your back. As long as your back is flat and the weight is in your heels, then it's fine if you're only able to squat down this deep into your squat, okay? Be where you are. The objective is what's important. So just remember, flat back, weight in the heels, and you're good. All right, so I'm going to be adding weight to my squat. So again, I'm going to be holding on to one dumbbell with one hand on either side of the dumbbell like this. And as I sink down into my squat, I'm just going to lift my arms straight up in front of me like this. And as I stand, I'm going to lower my arms and return to my starting position, holding the weight in front of me like this, okay? Super simple. So holding on to the weight with both hands, I'm going to push my booty back, sink down into my squat, keeping my back flat, keeping the weight in my heels. And as I do that, I'm lifting the weight straight up in front of me. Now I'm pressing my heels into the ground to stand. And as I stand, I'm bringing the weight back down in front of my legs like this, okay? That's it. And we're just going to be alternating one push-up, one squat. So all put together, it's going to look like this. I'm going to start with my weight on the ground, one hand on either side of the dumbbell. I'm going to do my push-up with my hands on the dumbbell. Now I'm going to jump my feet in. You can step your feet in one at a time, or you can jump them in. It does not matter. And then you're going to pick up your dumbbell and go right into your counterweight squat. And that's one rep. And then you'll just repeat. Put the weight down, jump or step your feet back into a plank position. Push up with your hands on the dumbbell. Jump or step the feet in. Pick up the dumbbell and stand. Counterweight squat. All right? So if you do not have a dumbbell, but you do want to add weight, again, a kettlebell would be perfect. But if you don't have a kettlebell, you can absolutely use household items to add weight. So something like a water bottle or a shampoo bottle will work great. You can fill it with water. You can also fill it with something like uncooked rice or dried beans, maybe kitty litter or powdered laundry detergent, anything just to give it a little bit of weight. What I would caution you against is using a household item, like for example, a water bottle or a shampoo bottle, the way I am using my dumbbell for the push-ups or for the mountain climbers. I don't think it is necessarily safe to place your hands on a water bottle or a shampoo bottle that is not intended to support your weight, that is not flat on the bottom. I don't necessarily think it's safe, and I do not recommend that. So unless you have something that is strong enough to support your weight, like this dumbbell is, and unless you have something that is flat on the bottom like this dumbbell is, then what I'm going to recommend is that you do your push-up with your hands flat on the floor or the ground, okay? Any push-up variation you want, but do your push-up and then jump or step your feet in, and then you can pick up your water bottle or your shampoo bottle or whatever you're using for weight and do your counterweight squat, all right? Then put the weight down, let go, hands flat on the ground, jump or step your feet back, and do another push-up, okay? So again, it's your workout, it's your decision. You have to decide what level of risk you are comfortable taking, but for the record, I'm going to advise that unless you have a kettlebell or a dumbbell that is flat on the bottom, that you do your push-up with your hands flat on the floor or the ground in front of you, and then you can pick up your weight if you want to add weight to the squats. Without weight, for your squat, if you don't want to add weight to the squat, or you just don't have anything that's going to work for weight, then any squat variation you want to do is fine. So really, any push-up variation combined with any squat variation, okay? So hands down, jump or step the feet back for your push-up, knees down for the push-up if you want, and then any push-up variation you want here, okay? So literally any push-up variation you want to do, jump or step the feet in, stand, and then squat. So you can just do a basic air squat if you want. If you want to add something, you can add a jump, which is basically just a burpee. And really, any way that you combine a push-up, any push-up variation with any squat variation is basically a burpee. So just kind of any burpee variation you want to do is fine, all right? So just do a push-up variation of your choice and then stand and do a squat variation of your choice, and that's it. That is your equipment-free substitution. So after I finish my push-up and squat combo, I'm going to be down on the mat for my ab exercise. And I'm combining two sit-up variations. So you can just do one or the other of these if you like one better than the other and you don't want to complicate things, or you can do it the way I'm doing it, okay? I'm just gonna be alternating between two similar but different sit-up variations. So again, I'm starting by holding on to my dumbbell with one hand on either side. And for this, we're not putting any weight on the dumbbell, so it does not matter if your dumbbell is rounded on the ends. You could also use a kettlebell, you could use household item, okay? Anything you want to use for weight is fine. But I'm going to start lying on my back on the mat. My knees are bent, and I'm going to have my arms extended overhead like this. And then I'm just going to sit up, and I'm going to bring the weight with me. So I'm going to keep my arms extended overhead as I sit up. And as I get here, I'm going to reach my arms up like here. I'm trying to, again, elongate my spine. I want a nice flat back, and I'm reaching my arms up towards the ceiling. And now here I'm going to add a little tricep overhead press. This is optional. You don't have to add it if you don't want to. But if you do want to, all you're going to do is bend your elbows and let the weight fall down behind you, and then reverse the movement. Straighten your elbows and lift the weight back up overhead. And then just sit back down, so you're going to lower your torso down with control and return to your starting position. So just that much of it looks like this. Sit up, stretch, lift the weight up overhead, and now tricep overhead press. Bend the elbows, straighten the elbows, press the weight back up overhead, and reverse the movement. So make sure every aspect of this movement is under control. Make sure you're not just dropping your body down. Make sure you're not dropping the weight down. Make sure that you're controlling the movement, okay? You don't have to go this slowly. I'm just illustrating that as opposed to just letting the weight drop. You're controlling the movement the entire way, okay? Now with your tricep overhead press, if you want to add that, the main thing that you want to keep in mind with that is that from your shoulder to your elbow, you want to basically have your elbows glued to the side of your head, glued to your temples, okay? So that from here to here, from my shoulders to my elbow, does not move. I'm just hinging at the elbow, okay? So what you're trying to avoid is allowing your shoulders to go back behind your head as you bend your elbows and lower the weight behind you. And you're also trying to avoid bringing your elbows forward as you straighten your arms. You want your elbows to stay glued to your temples. You're just hinging at the elbow. So from your shoulder to your elbow should stay perfectly stationary as you drop the weight and then as you extend your arms and press the weight up overhead, okay? So you can eliminate the tricep overhead press if you prefer. That is up to you. Really, you can do any sit-up variation you want, but if you want to do what I'm doing, but you just don't want to do the overhead press, just eliminate it. And then the second thing we're going to do is going to start the same. You're going to start in the same position with your knees bent and your arms extended up overhead. And then what you're going to do, it's a little difficult to like demonstrate in slow motion, but you're going to sit up and bring the weight with you. So it starts the same, but now what you're going to do is bring your feet in close to your booty. So you're going to really, as you sit up, instead of having your heels land far away from your booty, you're going to bend your knees into like a more acute angle. Really try to get your feet as close to your booty as you can, because what you're going to do from here is throw your weight forward and stand. Okay, so I can't do it in slow motion, but what you're going to do is really throw your weight forward. So you're tucking your knees really tight, bringing your feet, your heels in as close to your booty as you can, throwing your weight forward so that you end up here. And then from here, we're going to stand and we're going to lift the weight up overhead, okay? And then I'm also going to add a tricep overhead press here, but we'll get to that. Let's first just get the first part of the movement down, and then if you want to add the overhead press, you can. So this one, I actually find it easier to do with the weight. I think the added weight helps me to build the momentum I need to make this transition from the sit-up to my standing position smoothly, but you don't need to add weight if you don't want to. We'll get to your equipment-free modifications in just a minute. But this is what it's going to look like with the weight. So we're first going to do our sit-up, reach, tricep overhead press, back down. And then we're going to sit up, get up. So tucking the knees, bringing your feet as close to your booty as you can, throwing your weight forward as you sit up, and then stand, and then you're going to lift the weight up overhead. And then here I'm going to add another tricep overhead press. So same thing, glue your elbows to your temples so that your elbows are not going behind you as you lower the weight down, and they're not coming in front of you as you press the weight back overhead. From your shoulders to your elbows, staying perfectly still. And then again, you're going to reverse the movement, coming down with control. So place the booty back down on the mat, lower your torso with control, lower the weight with control, and return to your starting position. So again, putting it all together, sit up, tricep overhead press, and now sit up, get up, overhead arm raise, tricep overhead press, and reverse the movement. Bring the weight back down in front of you, booty down, torso down, weight down, okay? Sit up, tricep overhead press, sit up, get up, overhead arm raise, tricep overhead press, weight comes down, and return to your starting position. All right, so if you want to challenge yourself, you can just do sit up, get up, tricep overhead press. So you could just do this. Sit up, get up, tricep overhead press. and then that's it. Just keep doing these, okay? If you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, that's the more difficult of the two exercises, so you can stick with that. If that exercise is too difficult, you can just stick with the sit-ups, with or without the overhead press, and with or without weight. So if you don't want to add weight, just sit up and reach, okay? Return to your starting position, make sure the movement's under control. Sit up and reach up to the ceiling. Get that back as flat as you can. Reverse the movement. All right, so that's your equipment-free modification. You can also do the get up without adding any equipment, but I will caution you that, again, I actually find it more difficult to do that move without the added weight, because I have to work harder to generate the momentum necessary to make that transition. When I'm holding onto the weight and I have more weight to throw in front of me, it actually makes it easier for me to get up. So you can try it without weight, but it is a little bit challenging. So it's the same move, just without holding onto any weight. Sit up. As you sit up, you're going to tuck your knees as close to your booty as you can. Throw your weight forward so that you are in this position. You can see it's such a struggle without the weight, I think. And then you can stand. If you want, you can do like a jump up. Since you're not adding weight, you can add something else. And then just reverse the movement. So sit up and reach. And then sit up, get up. You can jump if you want. You can do a lunge, or you can add something if you want. Or you can just get up and then reverse the movement. All right, that's up to you. But that is your equipment-free substitution. And for beginner modification, just stick with sit-ups. Don't worry about the sit-up, get up. Just stick with the first part of the movement. All right, just sit up and reach. If the reach up is too difficult, eliminate it. If you're more comfortable doing your sit-ups with your hands clasped behind your head, that's fine. Do whatever's comfortable for you. Any sit-up variation you want to do is absolutely fine. Any sit-up variation, any crunch variation, any ab exercise you want to do at all is fine, okay? So if you just want to do your push-ups, or your sit-ups with your hands clasped behind your head, that's fine. Just make sure if you opt for this variation that you're not yanking your head up, okay? The purpose is not to use your upper body to pull your torso up. You still want to be engaging your abs and making your ab muscles do the work. So make sure you're not like pulling on your head, but you can absolutely do your sit-ups with your hands clasped behind your head if you're more comfortable. And then you can just come forward and tap your elbows to your knees if you want, or not, okay? It doesn't matter. You can sit up and reach forward and touch your toes. You can have your legs straight. I call these competition sit-ups. So it doesn't matter, okay? Any sit-up variation you want to do is fine. That's your beginner modification. If you are a beginner and you can do the get up and you want, you can absolutely try adding the get up as well. But if not, just stick with sit-ups. Any sit-up variation you want to do will work. But that's it. That's all the exercises we are doing today. Now here is the format. So today we're on intervals. This workout is going to take exactly 30 minutes if you just do part 1. I am also going to be adding on a part 2, but part 2 is completely optional. All right, so we'll get to that in just a minute. Let's focus on part 1. Here's the format for part 1. I have my interval timer set for 3 intervals, which I almost never do. I'm almost always on 2 intervals. So this is going to be something a little bit different. So keep in mind that I always take the time to type out the instructions in the description box down below the video, and I'm going to do the entire workout with you. So watch me do it, read the instructions. But then of course, as always, if anything is unclear and you're unsure how to set your timer, please just ask, okay? Same thing, if you have questions about any of the exercises that we are doing today, any doubts about how to do the exercises with the correct form, please ask. It is incredibly important that you understand how to do the exercises correctly before you begin the workout, so that you reduce your risk of injury and just so that you make sure you're getting the maximum benefit out of each exercise. So please make sure that you understand the movement, you understand what it is you're asking your body to do, and please ask questions if you have them. And the same thing goes if you need any further help with equipment-free substitutions or beginner modifications beyond what I have already provided. You guys know it is incredibly important to me that all of my workouts are always accessible to anyone and everyone who wants to do them with me. I am always here to help facilitate that. So if you have questions or you need help, please just ask. But getting back to the format. So for part one, this is going to be 30 minutes of interval training. We are starting with a 15-second rest interval. Okay, so rest intervals for this entire 30 minutes is 15 seconds. And we always start with the rest interval so that you have a few seconds to get ready, get yourself into position, and you don't lose any time off of your first work interval. The first work interval is also going to be 15 seconds long, and that's going to be to do as many mountain climbers as you can. Okay, so 15 seconds of rest, and then 15 seconds to do as many mountain climbers as you can without sacrificing your form. Remember to mind your form. Okay, as important as it is that you understand how to do the exercises correctly before you begin the workout, it is equally as important that you are applying that knowledge and actually doing the exercises correctly during the workout, okay? So that you do not get injured, and again, so that you maximize the benefit that you're getting out of each exercise. So 15 seconds to do as many mountain climbers as you can without sacrificing your form for speed. And then the next work interval is going to be 1 minute long. And in that 1 minute work interval, that's where we're going to do our push-up and squat combo. So as many sets of that push-up and squat combo as you can in 60 seconds without sacrificing your form. All right, so then we're going to start again. It's always 15 seconds, 15 seconds, 60 seconds, all right? So if you're looking to do this workout on your own, that's how you're going to set your timer. You're going to set your timer for 3 intervals. The first interval is 15 seconds, the second interval is 15 seconds, and the third interval is 1 minute. All right, so we're going to start with a 15-second rest interval, then 15 seconds to do as many mountain climbers as you can, and then 1 minute to do as many sets of the push-up and squat combo as you can. And then we're going to start over with another 15-second rest interval, then another 15 seconds to do as many mountain climbers as you can, and then 1 minute to do as many sets of our sit-up combo as you can. So for me, that's a sit-up with a reach plus a tricep overhead press, and then a sit-up, get up, overhead arm raise, tricep overhead press. All right, that's 1 set. I'm going to complete as many sets of that little sit-up combo as I can in 1 minute. All right, and we're going to do all of that a total of 10 times. So you're just going to keep starting over again with 15 seconds rest, 15 seconds of mountain climbers, and then 1 minute of the push-up and squat combo, and then 15 seconds rest, 15 seconds mountain climbers, 1 minute of the sit-up combo. Okay, and then just keep repeating that over and over until the timer tells you that your time is up, and it means that you're going to end up completing each of those a total of 10 times. Okay, so that's the format. Again, if anything is unclear with the format, or if you have questions about the exercises, you need any further help with equipment-free substitutions, beginner modifications, please just ask. Also, just please remember, especially if you are going to be working out along with the video, to go at your own pace, all right? You don't want to be sacrificing your form for speed. This is interval training, so yes, the goal is to do as many reps of each exercise as you can within your work interval, but not at the expense of your form. Okay, goals versus objective. Your goal is to do as many reps as you can, but your objective is to mind your form, and the objective always outranks your goal, okay? You always want to make sure that you are minding your form. So don't sacrifice your form for speed. Now, if you're in really great shape, you'll probably be a lot faster than I am. You'll probably be getting a lot more reps done than I am, and that's great. Be faster than I am. Just make sure that you are not sacrificing your form to get there. If you are slower than I am, that's also great, and I mean great. Because how would you even know that you are slower than I am unless you got your little booty dressed today and you got out here and you're doing the reps, okay? So if you're out here doing it, then that's fantastic. Be where you are, work at your own pace, okay? Make sure you're working to your own level, make sure you're going at your own pace. So if you're slower than I am, great. Be slower than I am. Work at your own pace and make sure that you're working to your own level. Please be smart, be safe, listen to your body, make sure you're minding your form, and just do your best, okay? Remember that your best is always good enough. So let your best be good enough. The important thing is that you're out here doing it and you're minding your form, okay? Oh, and I almost forgot to tell you about part 2. Okay, so part 2 for me is just gonna be jump rope, all right? I'm jumping rope. I'm going to do sets of 100 with my jump rope. When I say a set of 100, I'm talking about revolutions of the rope. So each revolution of the jump rope counts as 1 rep. I'm going to be doing sets of 100, and I'm going to be doing 30 sets of 100. So it's going to be long, it's going to be tedious. It's gonna take me plus or minus about 30 minutes or so. So if you would like to join me for the jump rope section, then absolutely grab your jump rope. If you don't have a jump rope, you have a few options. Option A, you can just eliminate part 2, just don't do it. Just do part 1, that's 30 minutes of interval training, and then you're done for the day, okay? Just make sure that you're taking a good 15-20 minutes to stretch after the workout, and then you're done. If you do want to do part 2, you want to add on the 30 minutes or so of moderate paced cardio, but you don't have a jump rope, then you can do any kind of cardio exercise you want for plus or minus about 30 minutes, okay? So you can jog in place. When I jump rope, that I really just kind of jog in place like this. So you can just jog in place without the jump rope. You can pantomime jumping rope. If you want to buy one of those, they actually sell ropeless jump ropes. It's really just 2 handles that you hold on to while you do exactly that, while you pantomime jumping rope. So you can jump with your feet together. You can do what I do and kind of jog in place. So you can pantomime jumping rope, but if you don't want to pantomime, you really can just either jog in place, or you can do high knees or jumping jacks. Any cardio exercise you want to do is absolutely fine. You could also, if you have access to like an exercise bike or a treadmill or an elliptical or something like that, you could hop on one of those for 20 or 30 minutes. You could go for a jog or even just a brisk walk. So you could walk around your neighborhood. If you have access to the field at your local high school, you could jog around the track. You could do up and down the bleachers. That's another great option. Or if you have access to steps anywhere else, either in your home or your apartment complex, or maybe there's a beach or a hiking trail or a park close to you that has steps, up and down the steps is another great option. If you're close to a beach, or if you have a pool or you have access to a pool, you could also go swimming. Swimming is such amazing cardio. So you could just go for a swim. That works. Any kind of cardio you want to do is fine. If you have access to hiking trails, I mean, a nice long hike this is a beautiful day for a hike. I probably should have planned a hike today, but I'm gonna jump rope. The point is that 20 to 30 minutes of moderate paced cardio, that's part 2. So it's optional. You can do part 2, you can leave it, or if you do want to do it and you don't have a jump rope, you can do any other kind of cardio exercise you want for 20 or 30 minutes. It is as simple as that. So that is your equipment-free substitution for part 2. So if you are jumping rope, just again, any style of jump rope you want to do is fine. So I kind of jog in place while I'm jumping rope. If you're more comfortable jumping with your feet together, just jump with your feet together. If you're really good at jump rope and you want to do something more difficult, absolutely. You can do high knees or jump rope jacks. You can jump side to side. You can jump on one leg, okay? The important thing is that we're counting revolutions of the rope. So 100 revolutions of the rope is 1 set. I am doing 30 sets. If that's too many sets for you, you can do 20 sets, you can do 10 sets, you can do 5 sets, or you can do no sets, okay? It is your workout, so you do what works for you. I hope I've covered everything. I think I have, I'm not sure, but again, I'm here to answer questions if you have them. So if anything is unclear, if you have questions, if I missed anything, just ask. But if you are ready to go ahead and begin the workout, grab your jump rope if you have one, and if you would like to jump rope with me today, grab an exercise mat or a yoga mat if you have one. If you do not have a mat, A towel may suffice. If you are working out on a carpeted floor or on grass, you may not need anything at all. But if you're doing knee push-ups, or if you are getting down on the mat to do abs with me, then you're definitely going to be more comfortable with something soft beneath you. So definitely grab an exercise mat or yoga mat if you have one. Grab a chair or a bar stool or some other strong, sturdy, stable, elevated surface if you need to use something like that for support to assist you either with your push-ups or your squats, or maybe if you are someone who can't get down onto the mat for sit-ups, you can use a chair to assist you for your abs. You can do knee crunches sitting in the chair, or you can do standing oblique crunch holding onto the chair for support. Okay, so if you need to hold on to something for support, again, a plyo box or a park bench, something like that is ideal, but you can also use the arm of your couch or a strong, sturdy, stable chair or bar stool or something like that. So if you need to hold on to something for support, get that ready as well. And then grab a dumbbell or a kettlebell if you have one, and if you want to add weight. If you don't have a dumbbell or a kettlebell, but you still want to add weight, grab a household item like a water bottle or a shampoo bottle, for example. And then you can pause the video, go get dressed. Meet me right back here. We're gonna go ahead and do a quick 5-minute warm up, and then we'll get the workout done together. All right, so as soon as you're ready, let's get started with our 5-minute warm up. You're going to begin by just allowing your head to fall towards one shoulder. You're going to place your hand on top of your head and just rest it there. You're not actively pulling your ear down towards your shoulder. You're just resting your hand on top of your head. Your arm is completely relaxed, and you're just allowing gravity to do all of the work of gently stretching the other side of your neck. Now we're gonna switch sides, so allow your head to fall towards the opposite shoulder. Place your hand on top of your head and just rest it there. Make sure your arm is completely relaxed. Make sure your shoulders are completely relaxed and away from your ears. So if your shoulders are creeping up here, push them down. Then we're gonna do some head rolls. So you're going to allow your chin to fall towards your chest and then towards the other shoulder and back. And each time you roll your head, you're just going to start feeling your head get heavier and heavier. Your arms are nice and loose like a rag doll. And with each roll, you're just allowing your entire body to fall down, expanding your range of motion. Now we're gonna do some shoulder rolls. So just rolling your shoulders to the back. Make sure you're really exaggerating the movement. Make those circles as big as you possibly can. Explore your full range of motion. And then we're going to do arm circles, but we're going to start small with our arm circles. So extend your arms out to the side and just start by making small circles, but gradually as the interval progresses, you're going to start expanding your range of motion. Make those circles bigger and bigger until finally your circles are as big as you can possibly make them. Now you are going to step your feet a little bit wider than shoulder width apart, bend your knees, kind of sweep your hands down in front of you. And then as you straighten your legs, you're reaching up above you as high as you can. And each time you bend your knees, you are slowly expanding your range of motion, sinking deeper and deeper into that squat. Now keep the feet right where they are. We're gonna lunge side to side, nice and easy. And then adding the arms. With each lunge, you're reaching your arm across your body. It's like you're trying to throw your arm across the room. Really loosening up those shoulders. Now step the feet in, and we're just gonna march. Starting with the knees low, but gradually as the interval progresses, you're going to begin lifting your knees higher and higher, driving your knees up towards your chest until finally you're driving your knees up as high as you can towards your chest. Feel a nice little stretch in your glutes. And now we're gonna do the same thing with a nice light jog. So jogging in place, starting with the knees low, but gradually as the interval progresses, you're gonna start driving those knees up, higher and higher towards your chest, until finally you're driving your knees up as high as you can. Next is booty kicks. So it's still a nice light jog, but with each step, you're bringing your foot up behind you, trying to kick yourself in the booty with your heel. Now for this next one, you may need to hold on to a chair or the wall for support. If not, you can just have your hands on your hips. You're gonna transfer your weight into one leg, pick up the other foot, and just start swinging the leg. Nice and loose. Just swing the leg in front of you, swing it behind you. We're gonna switch sides. So you're gonna put this foot down, transfer the weight, pick up the other foot, and just start swinging the leg. You can start low, and then little by little, start expanding your range of motion, kicking that leg higher and higher. Now we're going to extend this leg out in front of us, keep the foot low, and just make a little semicircle, bringing the leg around and behind you. Starting low, but with each semicircle, and lift that leg higher and higher until finally I'm gonna drive my knee up towards my chest, kind of guide it around with my hand for a hip circle. Other side, so extend the opposite leg out in front, starting with that foot low to the ground, just making a semicircle, bringing the leg around and behind you, lifting the leg higher and higher each time, and then finally drive the knee up in front of you. Use your hand to guide it around. And we're going to finish with a hamstring stretch. I'm using this post just to demonstrate that if you use a wall or a chair or some other sort of elevated surface to assist you, it's going to make it a little bit easier and a little bit more comfortable to get into this stretch while maintaining a flat back. You don't have to use the wall or a chair if you don't want to, and you don't have to maintain a flat back. If you allow your back to be rounded in this stretch, that's fine. You're not going to hurt yourself, but you're also not really maximizing the effectiveness of the stretch. So by keeping your back flat, you're going to instantly feel that stretch intensify in your hamstrings. Really isolating your hamstrings by flattening out that back. And it's going to make the stretch much more effective. We're only here for a few seconds, so I'm gonna really get the most out of this. So if you use a chair or the wall or some other sort of elevated surface to assist you, it's just gonna make it a lot easier to, a lot more comfortable first of all, and a lot easier to kind of achieve that flat back as you stretch out those hamstrings. Our 5 minutes is up. That's our warm up, but I always just like to spend a few extra seconds in that hamstring stretch because I tend to be really tight in the backs of my legs, and I want to make sure that I'm not only warm and I haven't only gotten my heart rate up a little bit, but that my muscles are nice and loose and I'm ready to begin the workout. All right, so as soon as you're ready, here we go. I am starting my timer in 3, 2, 1, and go. This is a 15-second rest interval just to get ready. So we are starting with 15 seconds of mountain climbers. So go ahead and get into position. I am holding on to my dumbbell for these mountain climbers, but you can do them with your hands flat on the floor if you prefer. And now 15 seconds, as many mountain climbers as you can do in 15 seconds. And then as soon as this 15-second interval is up, we're going to go right into our push-up and squat combo. And we'll do that combo for 1 minute. So push-up, jump or step the feet in, stand, counterweight squat. That's 1. Put the weight down, jump or step the feet back, push up with your hands on the dumbbell, or you can do the push up with your hands flat on the floor or the ground in front of you. That's fine. Jump or step the feet in. Pick up the weight if you're adding weight. And lift the weight straight up in front of you as you do that squat. 15 seconds to rest. And we're going to do another 15 seconds of mountain climbers. And then after this set of mountain climbers, we're moving on to abs. So I'm gonna do my sit up with a tricep overhead press, and then sit up, get up, overhead arm raise, tricep overhead press. And we're gonna do this for 1 minute, as many sets as you can without sacrificing your form. That's 1 set. So sit up, reach, tricep overhead press, and now sit up, get up, overhead arm raise, tricep overhead press, and return to your starting position. So that's it. That's all we're doing. We're just going to repeat that 9 more times. So starting again at the top, 15 seconds of mountain climbers. And now right into push-up, squat combo. Rest. I'm gonna be smarter this time and get my mat ready now so I don't lose any time off of my work interval when it's time to move on to abs. What if I just leave my mat here? Then I don't lose any time off of my work intervals. started with weight, but it's getting too difficult, you can always drop the weight. Either drop to a lighter weight or just drop the weight altogether and start using the equipment-free substitutions that I showed you before the workout. No rest interval here. Right into abs as quickly as you can. That's 3 rounds down. We have to do about 7 more times, so keep pushing. nearly done. Hang in there with me. That was round 6. Just 4 more rounds. You can do this. No rest here. Right into it as soon as you can. on 7. Just 3 more. I know it's hard. Just keep pushing. Just 3 rounds left to go. No rest here. As soon as you can get into your push-ups, you should start. That was round 8. We're really close. Just 2 rounds left to go. You can do this. Right into push-ups if you can. I just need a few seconds because I'm so fatigued. But this is not an official rest break. So get into it as quickly as you can. Rest as long as you need to, but challenge yourself to keep the rest break as short as you can. Make sure that you are, if you need to take little rest breaks where they're not scheduled, that's fine. Challenge yourself to keep the rest breaks as short as you can, but also make sure that you're resting as long as you need. You should only resume the workout when you feel that you've regained enough strength and you have enough stamina to continue with good form. 9. We made it, unless I miscounted, which is possible, I hope not. Unless I miscounted, I believe this should be our 10th and final round. So let's really push. It's the home stretch. We have just, well now, we have what, 2.5 minutes left. Something like that. I'm not good at doing math this far into the workout. My brain is completely fried. Good job. That's a really tough push-up variation. We're done. We have just 90 seconds left, and really now, only about 1:15. Let's push. Okay, just 1 minute left. Let's finish strong. I really hope I didn't miscount. I think this is the final interval. I'm pretty sure. I can't see my timer, so just been counting in my head, but I'm pretty sure this is around 10. Regardless, let's just push. Get as many sets of this sit-up combo done as we can with good form before the timer beeps. Okay, nicely done. That was round 10, and that's our 30 minutes. If you're not doing part 2, and that's all you're doing today, use the chapter markers to skip ahead to the cool down. We'll do a quick 5+ minute cool down together. And then make sure you're taking time to stretch, but then you can go ahead and take a shower, eat some lunch, and get on with the rest of your day. But just make sure that you get up and you move around a little bit. So if you want to do a little cool down with me, just use the chapter markers and skip ahead to the cool down. If you are continuing on with me, part 2 is just 20 or 30 minutes or so. For me, it's probably going to be at least 30 minutes, but something in that area, 20 or 30 minutes at least of moderate paced cardio. So I'm going to be jumping rope. I'm doing 30 sets of 100 with my jump rope. So a set of 100 means 100 revolutions of the jump rope. So I'm going to count 100 revolutions of the rope. I'll make a little slash on my paper, and I'll just do that 30 times, okay? So this is gonna be like a nice 5-minute rest break or so, plus or minus. So while I'm taking my rest break, I'll just go over a couple of things. If you don't need the rest break, you can skip ahead to part 2, that's fine. And if you need a longer rest break than what I'm taking, that's absolutely fine. Just pause the video, towel off, get something to drink, and once you feel that you are ready to start part 2, just come back. But I'm going to be doing jump rope. You can do 20 or 30 minutes or more if you want, of any kind of moderate paced cardio you want. If you are jumping rope with me, remember any style of jump rope you want to do is fine. So again, I always just kind of jog in place like this when I'm jumping rope, but you can jump with your feet together if you prefer. You do any variation of jump rope you want. The only important thing is that we're counting revolutions of the jump rope. So you're going to count 100 revolutions of the rope, make a slash, you're going to do that 30 times. Or 20. If 30 rounds is too many for you, do 20 or 15 or 10 or 5, okay? The other thing is that I'm probably going to be tripping over my jump rope quite a bit. Now, first of all, let me tell you that if you trip, you do not have to go back and start the whole set over again. So you're counting 100 revolutions of the jump rope. So if I'm counting to 100 and I trip on rep 55, I am not going to go back to the beginning and restart my count over at 1 until I can string together 100 reps unbroken without tripping over my rope. If I trip, I'm just going to pick up my count where I left off. So if I trip on the 50th revolution of the jump rope, I'm just going to pick up my count at 50 and take it from there. I'll do another 50 revolutions of the rope, and that's my set of 100, okay? Now for me, if I trip before I've reached like rep 20, I generally will just go back and start the set over. So you can if you want, but for me, I'm probably going to be tripping quite a bit. For some reason, I've been having a lot of trouble with my jump rope mat lately. When I jump rope in my living room, just on the wood floor, I'm not having any trouble tripping over my rope, but for some reason with my mat, it's been giving me trouble lately. So I might be tripping quite a bit. So in general, I'm not going to be starting the set over. I'm just going to pick up my count wherever I left off, okay? So keep that in mind. The other thing I want to remind you of is that I haven't been timing this. I'm trying to take up about 5 minutes or so with my little speech, and then it's fewer things I have to talk about while we're doing the jump rope section so I can save my energy, save my breath. But the other thing I wanted to say is that if you do find that you're tripping over your jump rope, I know that that is frustrating. Believe me, I find it incredibly frustrating. You're specifically trying to jump over the rope. So tripping over the rope is the exact opposite of what you're trying to do. And so it means that you're failing at your goal, and failure is frustrating. And I am not saying to stifle the frustration. It is absolutely natural and normal and healthy to be frustrated when you fail at something, when you're putting forth your best effort and your best just isn't good enough. But remember what I said at the beginning of the workout, your best is always good enough. So let your best be good enough. If you're doing the best you can, then it's good enough. I understand that failure is frustrating, and it's perfectly fine to feel that frustration. I'm not saying that you have to deny it or stifle it or something like that. You're not doing anything wrong. You don't have to feel bad that you're getting frustrated with yourself. But what I'm saying is that you have to do your best to not let that frustration dictate your mindset moving forward, because that can only lead to a negative outcome. All right, so do your best to just remind yourself that you're out here, you're doing the work, you're doing the best you can, and that's all you can do. So try your best to just remind yourself, I'm getting the reps done, I'm getting my heart rate up, I'm strengthening my heart and my lungs, I'm strengthening my legs and my feet and my calves, Achilles, I'm improving my hand-eye coordination, I'm improving my stamina. So even if you're tripping over your jump rope, you're still getting your cardio in. So just do your best to not let the frustration dictate your mindset moving forward. However, if that becomes too difficult, there's nothing writing on this, okay? If you're tripping, you can stop tripping, and it's getting more and more frustrating, and it's starting to feel like you're gonna be out here for 3 hours trying to get your jump rope done, scrap it, okay? It's not worth it, all right? Do your best, and if you find that your best is just not cutting it today and you're too frustrated and the workout has become unproductive, then scrap it, okay? You can do something else for cardio, or you can just not do the additional cardio. If you already did the 30 minutes of interval training, then you're good for the day, okay? So that's my little speech with jump rope. It's as much for me as for you, probably more for me because I am anticipating a lot of tripping. I'm going to do my best not to let the frustration get a hold of me, and I'm going to do my best to get through all 30 sets somehow in plus or minus about 30 minutes or so. All right, so I am going to take off my gloves because I don't think I need them for the jump rope section. I'm gonna towel off, I'm gonna get a quick sip of Gatorade, and then I'm gonna come right back here and start on part 2. So if you need a longer rest break, pause the video, towel off, get something to drink, and when you're ready to start part 2, meet me right back here and we will get started on our 30 minutes or so of moderate paced cardio together. All right, so I have reset my timer as a stopwatch. My goal is to finish this part 2 in under 30 minutes. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I want to keep it as close to 30 minutes as I can. Ideally, I would like to finish in under 30 minutes, but we'll see. I'm going to do my best. But that's my goal. I'm going to keep it as close to 30 minutes as possible. You don't have to time it if you don't want to, but I just find it helps me to keep pushing myself if I have a time goal that I'm trying to meet. It doesn't matter how quickly you get this done, but I don't want to be out here all day. So I want to kind of push myself to finish it as quickly as I can, but you know, work to your own level. So make sure you're going at your own pace. When you are ready, here we go. So we're doing sets of 100. I am starting my timer in 3, 2, 1, and go. So you are counting 100 revolutions with the jump rope. So you'll count like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 100. So that's my first set of 100. Just marking a little slash so that I don't lose track of my count. I'm just gonna do that 29 more times. Easy, right? So I've already given all my little speeches about tripping and doing your best. So this next 30 minutes or so, it's gonna be pretty boring. You might wanna grab a speaker, put on some music if you don't have trouble keeping track of your reps while you're listening to music, just to make it a little less tedious, but I'm gonna zip it. I'm gonna try to talk as little as possible so that I can conserve my energy, because this is gonna be really tough for me to get through. I have to do another 29 sets. So you know what we're doing? Just gonna do 29 more sets of 100. Do your best. So when you're ready, here we go, set number 2. So that last set, I tripped on rep 50. So I just took a breath, got right back into it, picked up my count at 50, jumped right back in, right where I left off, did another 50 revolutions of the rope, and that was my set of 100, okay? So you don't have to start the set over if you trip. That was set number 8. Let's do 2 more, and we'll be a third of the way there. We got this. That was set number 10. So we're a third of the way there. Right now I'm on pace to finish this in about 31 minutes. So see if I can maintain that. It's my goal to take as short of a rest break as possible in between sets. But I am pacing myself for 30 total sets. So that was our 10th set. We're a third of the way there. So this seems like a good spot to pause and rest for a minute or so. Let my breathing normalize a little bit, let my heart rate come down just a little bit. And then I'll pick up my count at 10. And I'll see if I can do another 10 before pausing to rest again. All right, so if you need a longer rest break, pause the video, come back when you're ready, or if 10 sets is enough for you, you can skip ahead to the cool down. If you would like to continue with me when you're ready, here we go. Starting set 11 right now. I'm starting that set over. So I'm just taking a few extra seconds to breathe. Take 3, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. So like I said before we began this part 2, for me, my threshold is usually 20 reps. If I trip over my jump rope before I've even completed 20 revolutions with the rope, I usually just start the set over. So that's up to you. But that's why I started that set over and I didn't start the earlier set over. All right, let's keep going. That was set 15. We are halfway there. Let's keep pushing. Let's do another 5 sets. That'll get us to 20, and then I'll pause and take another little rest break. You can rest with me too if you want. Picking up my count at 40. 50. 60. 70. 80. 90. 100. I know it's getting hard. I'm out here doing it with you, so I know it's hard. Let's just keep pushing. Let's do 2 more sets. That'll get us to 20. Then we can pause and take a little rest before tackling the final third. That was rep number 90. So instead of just doing another 10 revolutions to finish up that round, I'm gonna mark my slash, breathe for a few seconds, and then I'm just gonna tack on 10 extra revolutions to this next round. So counting 110 revolutions with this set. Plus those 10 revolutions that I missed the round before. Okay. Carry that. Starting to fall behind a little bit with my pace, but that's okay. You're gonna get it done. That was my 20th set. So I'm gonna take a minute or so to rest. And again, just try to let my breathing normalize a little bit. So nice deep breaths. I'm gonna allow my heart rate to come down just a little bit. I'm gonna keep it elevated over the course of this 30 minutes, but I want to let it come down just a little bit before I tackle this final 10 sets, these final 10 sets, just so I make sure I have enough stamina to get through this. All right. It's been about a minute or so. I don't know. I'm not looking at my timer. I'm just going by feel. It's probably been longer than a minute. I feel like I could use a longer rest break, but I still want to try to keep this as close to 30 minutes as I can, and I just have 10 sets left to go. So again, if you need to rest longer, pause the video, come back when you're ready, or if 20 sets is enough for you, you can be done, that's fine. Skip ahead to the cool down. If you are continuing on with me for these last 10 sets, as soon as you're ready, here we go, picking up my count at 20. So we're starting set 21 right now. the fatigue in my legs. It's harder and harder to get my feet up and over the rope. So I'm probably going to start tripping more frequently. So I'm just gonna do my best to stay focused and not let the frustration overtake my mindset. Just do your best. Starting that set over because that was rep like 10. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 91, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, still under 30 minutes, but not by much. And I have 5 sets left to go. So let's just push. Let's finish strong. It's just 5 sets. 4 more sets. Let's push. That was set number 28. Just 2 sets left. Let's push. That was 29. We made it. This is our final set. And then we're done with part 2. 100. That's 30. That's it, that's part 2. That took me 34 minutes and 40 seconds. So my ultimate goal was to finish in under 30 minutes, but I knew that wasn't likely. My more realistic goal was just to keep it as close to 30 minutes as I could. And I finished within 5 minutes. of 30. So I'm good with that. So part 1 is done, part 2 is done, but we're not quite finished yet. We do still have to do our bonus burpee, but before we get to that, whenever I do a jump rope workout, or any workout that includes jump rope, as today's did, I always like to include one final bonus round of jump rope. So one little bonus set of 100. This is completely optional, but if you would like to join me, any style of jump rope you would like to do is fine. We're just gonna do one more bonus set. So just another 100 revolutions of the rope if you want to. If not, you can just watch me do it. So when you're ready, here we go. Counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and that's 100. And that's our little optional bonus set of jump rope. Whew. So now let's just do a quick little cool down together. If you just finished doing my 6th annual Slack challenge with me, you know that I've been including this little cool down with all of my workouts lately. It's not very much of a structured cool down. If you prefer a more structured cool down, you can do whatever you want. But the main point is that you just want to get up and move around. Okay, so just pacing back and forth is actually more than sufficient. You just want to keep your body moving. You want to keep the circulation going while you allow your breathing to normalize and while you allow your heart rate to come back down. So just pacing around is absolutely fine, but I also do like to usually do a little bit of light stretching. This does not replace your full stretching routine that you're going to do after the workout, but we just did a bunch of push-ups. That was a really tough push-up variation, so let's just do a quick shoulder stretch. And while I'm doing this shoulder stretch, I usually just kind of either continue to pace around or even just like I'm doing now, just kind of shift your weight side to side. Just want to keep moving, keep the legs moving, keep the circulation going, and make sure as you're doing this shoulder stretch that your straight arm is completely relaxed, and make sure your shoulder is completely relaxed. If your shoulder is tensed up and hunched up by your ears, you're not going to be able to stretch it. Okay, your muscles have to be relaxed and warm in order to be pliable enough for this stretch to be effective. So do your best to make sure that you're relaxing your shoulders are down away from your ears, and the arm that's stretching, your straight arm, is completely relaxed. So other side, you're gonna bring the opposite arm across your body and then use the other arm to pull it in towards your chest. So this arm that's bent is doing all the work. I'm gently pulling my straight arm into my chest, feeling a nice stretch in that shoulder, but the arm that's being stretched, my straight arm, is completely relaxed, and my shoulders are completely relaxed, so that we can really feel that stretch. We also worked our triceps quite a bit today. We worked them during the push-ups because anytime your hands are closer together for the push-ups, you're isolating your chest muscles differently, but you're also targeting your triceps a bit differently. But then we were also doing those tricep overhead presses. So let's go ahead and stretch out the triceps a little bit. So just bend one elbow, place your other hand on your elbow, and just gently pull your elbow towards the opposite shoulder. And as you're doing that, you want to make sure that your free hand is pointing straight down at the ground. You want this arm to be completely relaxed, And you want to make sure that your hand isn't hanging around up here by your shoulder somewhere. This arm should be relaxed, your hand should be relaxed, and your fingers should be pointing straight down at the ground. Shake it out. And we'll get the tricep on the other side, so bend the other elbow. Place your hand on the elbow and just gently pull your elbow towards the opposite shoulder. Feeling that stretch in your tricep, and again, making sure that your free hand is completely relaxed and your fingertips are pointing straight down at the ground. Make sure while you're doing all of these stretching exercises that you're also continuing to either pace or shift your weight from foot to foot, and make sure that you're concentrating on your breathing. You want to make sure that you're working on slowing down your breathing, which will allow your heart rate to come back to its resting level more quickly. So let's do a quick quad stretch. So if you need to hold on to the wall or a chair or something for support, that's fine. If you don't need to, you don't have to, but you're just going to bring one foot up behind you, reach back, and grab the top of your foot with both hands, and you're just going to gently press your heel into your booty cheek, okay? And while you are doing that, make sure that you are tilting your pelvis forward. So you're kind of tucking your booty underneath you, and it feel like you're trying to suck your belly button back towards your spine, like you're trying to touch your spine with your belly button. And make sure as you're doing that, that you're continuing to press that heel into your booty cheek. As soon as you combine both of those aspects, you will instantly feel that stretch intensify in your quad. You're really isolating the quad muscle when you do that. It makes the stretch much more effective. So switching sides, bend the other knee, bring the foot up behind you. Reach behind you, grab onto the top of your foot with both hands and press your heel into your booty cheek while you tilt your pelvis forward. So tuck the booty under, suck the belly button all the way back towards your spine, and continue pressing your heel into your booty cheek. Really feel that stretch in your quads. And again, if you need to hold on to a chair or something for support, even if you're someone who doesn't typically struggle with your balance, when you're fatigued, it becomes a lot more difficult to balance. So that was a long workout. You might be struggling with your balance now, even if that's not something that normally happens to you. So if you need to hold on to the wall or chair or something for support while you do that quad stretch, that's fine. All right, so just shake out the legs. Shake out the hands, shake out the wrists, shake out the arms, swing the arms, loosen up those shoulders. If you feel that you are still breathing heavily, if you feel that your heart rate is still elevated and you need a few more minutes to cool down, pause the video. You can continue to just kind of pace around for a few more minutes. You can do a little bit more light stretching if you would like to, and then when you feel that you are sufficiently cooled down, go ahead and come back and we will get our bonus burpee done together. No workout of mine is ever complete until we have done our bonus burpee, so we have just one rep left to go. If you are a beginner, I will walk you through how to do a beginner bonus burpee. So you are going to start standing in the center of your mat. You're going to bend down and place your hands flat on the mat in front of you, and then you're going to step your feet back so that you are in a plank position. Now put your knees down for a push-up if you would like to include a push-up. If not, you can eliminate the push-up. Step the feet in and stand. Come up onto your toes if you can, and if you want, you can add a little jump. If you are not a beginner and you would like to try to do the push-up from your toes, let's go ahead and just do one final bonus burpee together, and then the workout will be officially complete. So as soon as you are ready, here we go. Final rep of the day. All right, with that, the workout is now officially complete. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did this workout with me today, thank you so much. Please let me know what you thought of it and how you did. Thank you to everyone who has been working out with me lately. And even if you are not doing the workouts with me, thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for liking and sharing the videos. Thank you so much for all of your wonderful and supportive and engaging comments. It really does mean the world to me. Thank you so much to all of my new subscribers. If you are not subscribed already, please subscribe. And of course, a great big thank you to those of you who have been subscribed to my channel for years. Please know that I appreciate you all so very much. One final reminder that if anything is unclear with the format of today's workout, because it was different than the types of formats that I normally do. So if anything is unclear about the format and how everything fits together, or if you have questions about the exercises that we were doing today, if you have any doubts about how to do the exercises with the correct form, or if you need any further help with equipment-free substitutions or beginner modifications beyond what I have already provided, I am right here to help. So please just ask. That is going to do it for today. But before I say goodbye, I have to say one final thank you to those of you who watched the video all the way until the end. Now, if you are a new subscriber, you don't know that this is a tradition of mine that goes back several years. So since this is the first time I'm doing it since like December, I'll go ahead and just explain really quickly what this is all about. So years ago, I've had this channel for over 10 years, but the way I used to edit the workouts, I would just show you a few reps so that you could see what the exercises look like, and then you could just go and do the workout on your own, because those are the types of videos that I was used to seeing on YouTube. That's what I liked. I didn't want to work out along with the video. I just wanted to see what I was doing and then go do the workout on my own. But I was always getting comments from people requesting for me to show the whole video from start to finish. So I thought, okay, I can do that. So at some point a few years back, I started sharing the entire workout from start to finish, every single rep, so that if you are the type of person that wants to work out along with the video, you have that option. But as soon as I started doing that, I thought, well, now the videos are so long, I seriously doubt that anyone is watching this whole video all the way until the end, even though people ask me to do this, like how many people are still watching? So in order to find that out, I started including a secret code phrase of the day at the very end of each video. So that's how I know that someone watched the video all the way until the end. So if you are still watching, here is the secret code phrase of the day. It is, I'm not a cop, I work for the Yankees. Okay, I'm not a cop, I work for the Yankees. So if you are still watching this video, hello, thank you for watching all the way to the end. Please let me know that someone is still watching by going down to the comment section and leaving me a comment that says, I'm not a cop, I work for the Yankees. All right, that is going to do it for today. I will see you all next time. Bye.